This is exactly how I would start an e-commerce brand in 2025 if I was starting over from scratch. For context, I've built my own Shopify store from 0 to 1.2 million in annual sales over 5 years, and I've tested every platform, tried every ad channel, burned through budgets, learning what works and what's a complete waste of money. So it's fair to say that after all this time building and scaling my e-commerce brand, I know exactly what matters and what doesn't. And if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, this is exactly how I would do it. First things first, and this is where 80% of people fail before they even start. I would obsess over finding the right product. And I'm not talking just about any product that sells, I'm talking about a product that can scale, that has real margin built in, and that I can actually protect from competition once I start getting traction. Here's what I learned the hard way. You need to be able to sell it for at least 3 times what it costs you to buy and fulfill it. I know that sounds aggressive, but once you factor in your ad costs, your Shopify fees, your apps, your time, you need that margin just to stay profitable. Without it, you're basically working for free. And you don't want that. The sweet spot I would aim for is for products in the £30 to £80 retail price range. Why? Because it's high enough that you're making a decent profit per order, but low enough that people can still impulse buy it without needing to justify it to their spouse or sleep on the decision overnight. Now here's what most people mess up. They go straight for the ultra-competitive products because everyone's selling it, so it must work. But that's backwards thinking. What you actually want is something with proven demand, but not complete over-market saturation. You want to find these pockets where customers are searching for, but they're not already 50 identical stores fighting for the same traffic. I would force myself to spend at least 2 weeks doing nothing but product research before I spend a single penny on inventory. Most people rush this step because it's not exciting, but then they waste months trying to make a bad product work. Don't be that person. Next, once I've validated the product, this is where I do something most store owners completely ignore, and it's probably the biggest missed opportunity in e-commerce. Most people think I've got a product, I'll sell it for X, done. But that's leaving so much money on the table it's almost criminal. Before I even touch Shopify, I would sit down and map out my entire offer architecture. What bundles can I create that give customers more value while increasing my average order value? What makes sense as an upsell after they add the cart? And what complementary products can I show on the product page that people would naturally buy together? I would build in volume discounts, things like buy 2 get 1 free or spend $50 for free shipping, because customers love feeling that they're getting a deal, and I love when they spend more money, so it's a win-win. And here's the thing that separates stores making 10k a month from stores making 100k a month. It's not about selling more units necessarily, it's about getting each customer to spend more money per order. If I can design my offer so that my average order value is 1.5x to 2x of my base product price, suddenly my ad spend goes twice as far and my business becomes way more profitable. Next, I would actually build the store, and this is where I see people waste weeks trying to make the site look like Apple's website with fancy animations, parallax scrolling, and all this stuff that doesn't move the needle. I wouldn't do any of that. I would focus purely on conversion fundamentals, the things that actually make people click buy. First up, crystal clear product descriptions, not the generic manufacturer descriptions that everyone copies. I mean descriptions that address every single anxiety and objection running through your customer's head. Why should they trust me? When will it actually arrive? What if they don't like it? What makes this different from the cheaper version on Amazon? Next, social proof everywhere. Reviews, customer photos, testimonials, but real ones, not the fake Chinese reviews you can buy in bulk. Even if I'm starting from scratch, I would get samples to friends and family first, then have them actually use the product to get real feedback that I can share. People can smell fake reviews from a mile away. I would build out a proper FAQ section that answers the 20 most common questions, not because people always read FAQs, but because when someone's on the fence, they scroll down looking for reasons not to buy. If you've already answered their objection, you've kept them in the game. Loading speed matters too. I would optimize every single image, use a fast theme, and resist the urge to install 47 different apps and slow everything down. Every second of load time you add, you lose conversions. What's the goal for all of this? Get my conversion rate from visitor to buyer above 2% from day one. Most stores sit at between 0.5% to 1% and wonder why they're burning money on ads. It's because the store just doesn't convert. Fix the store first, then scale the traffic. By the way, if you want a full deep dive on all of this, I've made a full-length free course on building a 7-figure ecom brand. Click the first link in the description below to watch it. Next, email marketing. This is non-negotiable, and it's where I'll differentiate myself from 90% of beginners who skip this step. Before I even launched, I would have Klaviyo set up and ready to go. And I know what you're thinking. I don't have any customers yet. Why do I need email? That's exactly the wrong mindset. Email marketing drives between 30 and 40% of my orders once it's dialed in. Think about that. That's nearly a third of your revenue coming from basically free traffic once someone's on your list. Compare that to ads when you're paying for every single click, every single visitor. From day one, I would have these sequences ready. A welcome series for new subscribers that builds trust and introduces my brand. An abundant cart sequence that recovers 50 to 20% of lost sales automatically while I sleep. The post-purchase sequence that brings customers back for the second order. And the win-back campaign for anyone who hasn't bought in the last 60 days. Here's the secret that most people miss. I'll be building up my email list from day one with a 10% discount pop-up. Yeah, some guru says this strains customers to wait for a discount, but you know what? I would rather have 1,000 email subscribers I can market to for free than perfect full-price customers I don't have. The email list becomes your asset. It's the thing you own. Facebook can ban your ad account tomorrow, Google can change their algorithm, but your email list, that's yours forever. Next, launch with Google Ads, not Facebook. Here's where I would do things completely differently when you see everyone else is teaching. Walk into an e-commerce course and they're telling you to start with Facebook ads or TikTok ads because it's sexy, that's what's working, and that's where the big wins are. But I would ignore all of that and start with Google Shopping first. Why? Because the psychology is completely different. If someone's searching for best running shoes for flat feet on Google, they have a buying intent right now. They're looking for a solution, they're already at the bottom of a funnel. Compare that to someone scrolling Instagram who sees an ad interrupt their cat videos. They weren't thinking about buying anything 30 seconds ago. You have to create demand, educate them, warm them up. It's a much longer, much more expensive process. With Google Shopping, you're meeting the demands that already exist. You're not trying to convince people they need something. You're just showing up when they're already looking for it. Budget-wise, I would start small, between 20 to 30 pounds a day, and my only goal would be to get a positive ROAS to break even. I'm not trying to get rich here. I'm just trying to validate that people actually want to buy this product, and I'm trying to start generating data. Once I've proven it works on Google and I'm at a break even, then I can scale up the budget, and only then I would layer in Facebook and TikTok ads to find cold traffic. That I would have to do a proof of concept first, and I would have revenue coming in. Once I've proven it works on Google and I'm at the break even, then I would scale up the budget, but only then I would then layer in Facebook and TikTok ads to find cold traffic. But before I do it, I would do a proof of concept first, and I would have revenue coming in to find those experiments. The next step is your back end. This is where most e-commerce brands completely fall apart, and it's the difference between struggling to survive and building real wealth. Everyone obsesses over that first sale and conversion rate, but how do you get customers? How do I lower my cost of acquisition? How do I scale my ads? But here's the brutal reality. If you're spending £30 to acquire a customer and making £35 in the first order, you're barely keeping the lights on. The real money, the money that lets you scale, hire, take vacations, and actually build a life, that comes from the second, third, and fourth purchases. That's why from day one, I would be absolutely obsessed with customer lifetime value. Not as some vanity metric that I check once a month, but as the core of my entire business model. I would set up a proper email marketing system specifically designed to bring customers back for repeat purchases every 60 to 90 days. I would test subscription options if the product supports it, because subscription customers are worth 3 to 5 times more than one-time buyers. My target would be getting my LTV to CAC ratio to at least 2 to 3x, meaning if I'm spending £30 to acquire a customer, I would like to make at least £60 to £90 from them over their lifetime. And that ratio in the business actually works. Below that, you're on a treadmill. This is what separates businesses that survive from businesses that thrive. Most people never figure this out. Here's the final piece, and it's probably the hardest one because it requires patience in a world that tells you to move fast and pivot constantly. I see this one all the time. Someone launches, doesn't get sales in the first week, panics, and completely changes everything. New product, new store, new niche, basically starting over from scratch. But that's not how this works. That's not how anything works. If I followed all the steps above and launched, I would commit to at least 90 days of consistent effort before making any strategic changes. Not because 90 days is some magic number, but because that's roughly how long it takes to actually see if something's working once you factor in testing, learning, and optimization. During those 90 days, I'd be relentlessly focused on small optimizations, testing different ad creatives and seeing what resonates, A/B testing landing pages for product descriptions, analyzing my funnel to see exactly where people drop off, improving my email sequences based on actual open rates and conversion data, adjusting my offers based on what customers are actually telling me, because that's what nobody tells you. A 10% improvement in the conversion rate plus a 10% improvement in average order value plus a 10% improvement in ad performance doesn't equal to 30% more profit. It equals way more than that, because these things compound on top of each other. Most people are sitting on gold mines and don't even know it if they're so busy looking for the next shiny shiny object that they never stop to optimize to what they already have. Don't make that mistake. And that's literally the exact step-by-step process on how to start an e-commerce brand from scratch in 2025, all the way through building a profitable, sustainable business. If you follow every single step in this video to a T, I promise you will be miles ahead of 95% of e-commerce stores out there. But here's the thing, this video only scratches the surface of what it takes to build a 7-figure e-commerce brand. I couldn't cover everything about product validation, email marketing sequences, advanced conversion optimization, ad scaling strategies, or the exact systems I use to maintain 30 to 40% email revenue in just one video. That's why I created a complete free course that goes way deeper into all of this. It's basically everything I wish I knew when I started. So click on the video on the screen right now to watch that full free course on building a 7-figure e-commerce brand. It covers all the advanced strategies, the exact systems, and the step-by-step process I use in my own store with my clients. Make sure you like this video so you can easily find it again. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on e-commerce growth, and I'll see you in the next one.